All right, happy Sunday evening, everybody. Welcome to a little Roundball Rewind on a Sunday afternoon slash evening. I guess technically it's after 5, so we call it evening. Going to look at Texas Tech losing to Texas A&M 72-67 in Fort Worth today. Might throw in a little bowl game talk with Arkansas, but a big basketball game for sure for Texas Tech. A big opportunity, an opportunity missed. And, million and one paper cuts in this one, but a couple of pretty dominant themes that I think I've seen with this team so far. So we'll give you our thoughts. We'll get your thoughts, your comments, and questions. Fire away. Thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street. Whether you're on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media, whether you're on our YouTube channel, love you on the YouTube channel, or watching on Facebook Live, we want to hear from you tonight. All right, let's do it in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You started your day there with our Sunday column. Hope you enjoyed it. It's non-sports on a Sunday. We're brought to you tonight by Domino's Pizza. The fun not ending after Texas Tech basketball and all the football bowl games revealed and the playoffs set up and everything else, because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are coming up. So get your app out there for Domino's.com. Get your order placed and get some great Domino's pizza. Finish up the weekend strong with Domino's. We are looking tonight at Texas Tech and Texas A&M. This was a meaningful game. The last meaningful non-conference game you'll play, ORU and Lamar after that, and then you start with UCF on New Year's Eve. This was a big game for Texas Tech, big game for A&M, but a big game for Texas Tech because right now you're squarely on the outside looking at the looking in on the inside of the NCAA tournament. You're not an NCAA tournament team right now. But how could that be? You only had one loss coming in. You hadn't played anybody worth a crap. And you in one of those, you lost. And today, the best opportunity to moderately improve that resume, and you can't get it done. This team without JT Toppin obviously is a different team. I'm hesitant to say that they're a bad team. I will say they're a really average team right now without JT Toppin. You take a double-double off the floor. You take a dynamic presence like JT Toppin. He's got a foot. He's got an ankle. He's got something. We're not sure. But he wasn't there for the second game in a row. You survived it at home against DePaul. Not a good team. You couldn't do it today against Texas A&M. Texas Tech, their own worst enemy for a lot of the day. 18 turnovers turn into an 18-9 points off turnover advantage for Texas A&M. Poor shooting to start the game leads to an 11-0 run, I think, an 11-2 run to start the game. You try to claw out of it. You do in the second half. You come back, you take the lead, bounce back and forth, but then you go cold again late. And just nothing happening offensively. Multiple scoring droughts of nearly 4 minutes and nearly 3 minutes late. And, of course, the fascination that we have talked about with this team with the three-point shooting does not serve them well again today. But how can you say that, Hyatt? They're so good at shooting threes. Well, they're even better at getting rebounds. So that's where we find ourselves today. Let's get your comments and questions rolling in tonight. Preston starts us off. We did not attempt a two-point shot in the final 11 minutes of the game. Texas Tech on the night shooting, 25 of 51 long. Was it 12 of 31 long? 12 of 31 long, 25 of 51. So you're 13 of 20 inside the arc. Seems to me that might be a good idea. Also, you don't get to the free throw line enough, shooting too many three-pointers. It leads to runouts. I know that's the state of the game today, but it's still okay to go inside. And I waited just a little bit to go on. I wanted to hear what McCaslin had to say on the Tech Radio Network, and he kind of echoes what we're saying here. They weren't aggressive enough. They didn't do enough of the right things. They just didn't play very good basketball today. Jacob, one player doesn't make a team, but like it or not, in college basketball, a very good one can come close. And JT Toppin's a very good basketball player. And without him in the first half, it seemed like they were lost. If it's not for Overton showing up in the first half, you probably don't have a chance in the second half, and then Overton goes cold. Williams gets a few things going there. Mark in on Facebook here on Roundball Rewind, brought to you tonight by Domino's Pizza. 18 turnovers, no guard play tonight. And this team hadn't been a turnover machine. But again, they haven't played good teams, and A&M is a good defensive team. They're not a great team by any stretch. And we'll go into some more details. But they're a good defensive team. And so here you are in early December with 2 non-conference games left, and you're sitting there going, hey, you're finally actually playing some competition, and you turn it over 18 times. Yeah, I blame the scheduling for a lot of this team's problems, and they're going to go into Big 12 play having to finish probably top 6 and beat a bunch of really good teams in order to get into the NCAA tournament. Now, one could say you'd have to do that anyways, but it might be a nice change of pace to actually go into Big 12 play firmly on the right side of the bubble. So this team today, just too many of the things that'll get you beat, too many of the things that will keep you from winning. And I know without JT Toppin, you've got to figure a few things out, but I think it can still be a better north-south team. A&M flipped into some zone a couple of times during the game, and that seemed to throw them a little bit right there. But for the most part, it was a team that came out, as Marcia Sharp used to say, they were not set on go. You got to come out set on go, and we didn't see it. And again, you haven't played a lot of good teams. Playing most of the teams you play don't get you ready for anything like this. CJ, mentally not there today, which I'll agree to that. Not being around the team, not being there, it's hard to ascribe and sit here and play psychologist or psychiatrist on it. But there didn't see a whole lot of, again, you come out, you get down like that. Second half of the first half, you do find some shots and hit a few things. But just didn't seem to be there is a good way to put it. There was no there today. At different times, a couple of guys tried to step up. But to me, stepping up is not shooting a bunch of threes. Hyatt hates threes. No, I love threes in their place, in the natural flow of the offense. They can be great complementary. But this team seems to be a whole lot better at scoring when they go in. That's just too many three-pointers to take if you're Texas Tech. And we saw that last year, and I'm seeing it again this year, that you attempted for the game 31 three-pointers. The point of resistance to me is, yeah, you made 12, but how many of those turned into opportunity? And there should be a new stat in basketball, points off, because a missed three-pointer to me is a turnover. Just like a missed field goal in football is a turnover, a missed three-pointer is a turnover to me because it typically leads into long run-out rebounds and great opportunities for the other team. And I would love to see, and you don't have it in the advanced or analytic stats or anything that I've got access to, and quite frankly, I'm not going to go back and chart every game. Somebody else could do that and see how many times when you miss a three, what does that turn into? How much did you lose on the other end that resulted in either 2 points, 3 points, or you fouled on the other end because you're out of position defensively? I mean, those are issues, certainly. Raider Rick is on Twitter X. Disappointing for the team, for the fans, given it was a full Tech crowd. Yeah, I mean, they kept talking about being sold out, and then you're watching on TV going, oh, look at there are a lot of empty seats. But I think maybe the fans were on the side that the TV cameras were on, and maybe some of those seats were from earlier. I don't know. Maybe they were part of that TCU Vandy deal. Either way, you had a hell of a lot more people that looked like than TCU and Vanderbilt. I will give you this note passed along by my old friend Darren Allred. He's a sports information type guy, and passes this one along. This is amazing, and I have no reason to believe that this is not true, because Darren's really good at this stuff. At DA Sports TX, Texas Tech now 3-26-2 in games played in Fort Worth in football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, volleyball, and soccer, since 2018. 3-26-2 in Fort Worth since 2018. And as he says, that's unreal considering the amount of Tech fans that most of those games hashtag Tarrant County curse. Not Terry County. No, we love Terry County. You know? So here we go. Barbara, why are both teams having turnovers, ladies and men? Men hadn't been having a lot of turnovers. That hadn't really been a problem for them most of the year. You know, Hawkins has really handled the basketball well. They have not had that issue. I go back a little bit that this team seemed lost without JT Toppin, certainly against a decent team like Texas A&M, a team that would be most likely about a 10 seed if the NCAA started today. So let's go to there. And this is where I feel for fans who only see like Ken Palm numbers or different numbers like that. Again, we have to do the education. Now, a lot of you guys know this. You're smart. You paid attention to us for several years, and you know of which I speak and the veracity of which I come to you with this message. Pay attention only. Now, you can look at the other stats and the other metrics and have fun with it. Do whatever you want. But now that we're at this point in the season, the two websites you go to and you pay attention to are Hoops HD, and Brackville.wordpress. Dave Almond at Brackville.wordpress and Chad Sherwood at Hoops HD. And they not only are the best in the business in predicting the bracket and what it's going to look like come March, but they do it in real time as the season goes along, and it gives you a very accurate picture of where your teams are in relation to other teams and everything else. Texas Tech today started at 57 on the Hoops HD nitty-gritty number, well off the bubble. And it'll fall. They have not been in the Hoops HD tournament prediction bracket for a while. Bracketville will drop them out after this loss today, and as I said, it will probably make A&M not a single-digit seed, but move them. Well, it might make them a single-digit seed. It might move them a little closer to a protected seed, but probably not much because, again, they're not feasting much off Texas Tech. Texas Tech just not bringing much to the old analytical party. So now we have to go, okay, you're probably going to be in the 60s by the time you hit UCF. ORU and Lamar are just going to hurt your number just by playing them. The old ratings percentage index type thing. So you are going to be way down the pecking order going into the toughest college basketball league in America, having to get wins against really good teams in order to, again, make the tournament. Make the tournament. We're not talking. The conversation right now is not, can Texas Tech be a 4 seed? Can Texas Tech be a protected seed? The conversation we have to have right now is, can Texas Tech do enough in Big 12 play to overcome the non-conference schedule? And then the other conversation is, how bad is Toppin hurt? Obviously he couldn't go today. With him, this is a team that can beat people. I firmly believe it. He has been better than advertised for my money. Without him, with what we saw today against a mid-level A&M, I think he'd be hard-pressed to go 500 in the Big 12. And that, I don't know that would get you in the NCAA tournament at this point. Fire away your questions, comments, thoughts on the day. And for those who say, well, this is overreaction to a close loss. No, it's just the reality of where you are. These numbers matter. We're far enough in, and this is just the reality that this team has put itself in. I think this can be a very good basketball team, but they put themselves in a bad position. Some of it they've only got 2 losses, right? Well, yeah. But again, schedule. It's got to change. It has to change. The non-conference scheduling philosophy must change for Texas Tech going forward. End of story, bottom line. And I think it will. I think it will. Cheater 123, the Big 12, not the best conference this year. Tech will be fine if Toppin plays. Wasted too much on Hawkins. Turnover machine. Hawkins is probably the best point guard you've had in a while. He's really good. Turnover machine today, not good. I don't know how much you've watched of him, but he can be a very, very good point guard. I'll stand by that with Hawkins. Hawkins is, going to win you games. He's a good point. He is. Bad day today, bad look today for the whole team on that front. But, and again, I don't know how much you've been able to watch them, but so much of it today was and A&M was really just baiting you into the threes. They were really just baiting you in to just be a lazy offense. And I know McCaslin talked about it after the game about, we use the term, you've got to punch a zone. Whether it's a 3-2 or 2-3, you've got to punch it repeatedly. That means you must enter the basketball into the paint. You must get the ball north-south into a zone make it expand, contract, when it does that, it loses relationship both on the perimeter and you can back cut a zone when you do that. You didn't do that today. So now you're just flipping the ball around out there, which leads to not a good look on offense. What was the number again? I want to go back to not attacking today. Points in the paint. You had 18 points in the paint. They had 26. 7 fast break, 18 points in the paint. So many things wrong today. Yet you only lose by 5. So that's the way it go. That's the way basketball go. Next up, 2 games that only mean something if you lose. They really won't get you any farther if you win. And we turn our attention, obviously, to the health of JT Toppin. And, you know, let me put it this way. Grant McCaslin's not dumb. He knows what we know. And he knew that this was the last real opportunity in non-conference play for Tech to make a statement that Toppin, that they couldn't play Toppin in this game tells me he really must have something going on. Now, you can also go, well, we can't jeopardize anything in the Big 12 for one game. Well, yeah, yes, and no. Some of these games do matter. If you want to discuss some of the football, we can turn the attention to the football as well. You know, Tech and Arkansas, the Liberty Bowl. I don't know how many people are fired up about going back to Memphis there a couple of years ago, but there are worse places for a bowl. I know a lot of people were hoping it would be somewhere in Texas, but at least you aren't out there in Arizona at the rated or grated cheese bowl or the rated something bowl, or I don't know what that is out there. And you get a regional opponent. You know, that's a good thing. Could be worse days. It's after Christmas. That's good. And it's like 2 days after Christmas. So you got time to get the family the hell out of here. We're going to Memphis. 7 o'clock kickoff on that one. All right. Is it D.R. Wake or is it Der Wake? Or is it Der Aki on YouTube? Today, Tech lost the battle to A&M, but tomorrow, my 5-year-old wins the war with childhood cancer. Victory bells are going to be rung tomorrow at the clinic. These bells matter the most. My God bless you, and that is just awesome. That it'll be the greatest day as a parent. I have a friend who his son survived childhood cancer, and kind of around the same age, a little bit older. And I tell you what, it'll stay with you. And God bless your son. Man, ring the hell out of that bell. Ring it all day long. Take a bell with you everywhere you go. Ring that damn bell. Randy, how did they have more points in the paint with such a small lineup? As wise man did say, that is the way basketball go. They entered the ball into the paint. They got the ball into the paint. They ran more north-south. You know? They did what you didn't do. They were more aggressive. My man Trace, SMU, I didn't have any faith this morning that the Ponies would get in. Not that I'm like a huge SMU guy or anything, but for college football, wanted to see it over Alabama. And I was pleasantly shocked that SMU gets in to the playoff. Big 12 gets a bye. Hey, who knew that was going to happen? Longtime Big 12 member Arizona State carrying the banner. We're all Sun Devils in the postseason. But yeah, now the SEC and Greg Sankey, I'm surprised they haven't announced that they've changed the playoff already. You know they're going to be mad now. You know, make them mad. They're just going to have their own postseason next year, and it'll just be SEC teams. Heck, they're even mad at the Big Ten right now. It's just SEC, here we come. But please, anything that gets us closer to 16 teams, anything that gets us closer to 72 teams playing major college football, broken down to NFL-style divisions with rigid criteria set on you win this and you do this, and here's your record, and you automatically get, automatically. Everybody in the NFL who makes the playoffs, by the way, automatically makes it. So let's lose that terminology and just say anybody who earns a playoff berth based on the rules as written, that before the year we know if you do this, you get in with conference champions and wild cards, and we do it exactly like the NFL, and life will be great. And we get back to regionalism and rivalries. Well, that's not fair, man, because some regionals may be tougher than others. Guess what? Some NFL divisions are tougher than others. Yet we somehow live with it and crown a Super Bowl champion every year. And it's completely and 100% decided on the field and who you beat. Alabama griping about their non-conference schedule hurting them. They didn't play anybody. They can't make their non-conference schedule any easier. SEC is going to play 5 conference games next year, and then they're not going to play anybody. Alan, the College Football Playoff Committee got it right. Rarely do committees get anything right. I think they got it right as much as they can get it right. Right? Right. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. The fake Natalie Maines, who may or may not be the real Natalie Maines, we don't know. Dear Hyatt, how are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. Memphis is almost as lovely as Gunsport in Houston or Stop 6 in Fort Worth late December. How far do bowl games take a step back now with the playoff? How many extra practices will Tech get? How many players will sit this one out since the bowl game matters so much? I hope Taj Brooks doesn't play. You get about maybe 10 practices right now. You get through finals. You got to let them go home for Christmas for a little bit. So maybe they go home around the, when would they play on the 27th? So it'll be Christmas in Memphis, I assume, for the team. So maybe 10 extra sessions that are worth anything that you'll forget by the time spring rolls around or anything else. And then who are you working out? Are you working out, who's going to play, as you say, who's going to be there? You got guys that are in the portal, so you can take all those guys out. I would assume I would not allow them, if they're in the portal, to play in the bowl game under any circumstances. You're taking up space for somebody that you may or may not be back. Don't care, but you don't get to play in the bowl game if you're in the portal. In my opinion, if I were a coach, I'll wish you well and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see. So maybe like, because at a certain point you got a game plan. So the whole practice thing, well, at a certain point you got a game plan. Alabama has no grip since you get beat by Vandy and Oklahoma, routing them. Just win. Yeah, it ain't about the non-conference. Bama, it's you lost to 2 6-6 teams in your conference that you should have beat. It has nothing to do with strength of schedule. If you'd played somebody or nobody, it wouldn't have mattered unless you beat those teams. So yeah, there you go. But bowl game excitement, if you're going to play somebody, it might as well be somebody kind of regional that you have a history with, that you don't play all the time. It's been since 15, the old days of Brett Bielema and Cliff Kingsbury trading barbs in the post-game press conference, and Cliff Kingsbury standing up for Texas high school football coaches. The good old days. Arkansas shoving it down your throat. And what was that, 2014, 2013? I can't remember which year, where they went on like 2 different drives of 37 plays each, ran the ball the whole time. So no recent games against them, but lots of history that'll get the people who go to bowl games fired up. And there are worse places to be than Memphis. Now, it's got a chance to be cold as hell, sleeting. Who knows what the weather will be. Memphis is like Dallas this time of year. You could catch a great day, or you could catch an absolute miserable day. So go and just hang out on Bill Street if you want to go, and whatever. And if the game sucks, go watch it at a sports bar. All right? It's a party. Go have fun. Jan, great Red Raider fan, by the way. If a player's in the portal, they should not travel to the bowl game with the team and certainly not play. I'm with you. You're taking up space for people who've said they want to be here, at least for now. So, hey, they get the gear, they get everything else, but shouldn't they get rewarded for? No. Doesn't work that way. And of course, I'm not a believer that the bowl game really, the practices and everything else, I think, are negligible on the effect of a team improving or otherwise. That's just something coaches have to say. I don't really believe it. Randy, by the way, welcome into a Roundball Rewind, hanging out with you after Texas Tech falls 72-67 to Texas A&M. Not a good loss by any stretch of the imagination, and a lot of work to do for Tech basketball if you're just getting in. No JT Toppin today. Too many turnovers. You're still jacking up too many threes, in my opinion, and not getting enough north-south. And there we go. So we're now talking about football because, We live in the state of Texas, and we talk about football whenever we want. And we're getting ready for Patrick Mahomes. And you're going to be, I guess people still call Domino's, maybe. You can get on that app or go to Domino's.com. Got a ton of great specials right now. Those New York style pizzas are really good. Randy, Boise State is laughing all the way to the bank. Playing in a subpar conference and getting a bye. And when bye and Boise State get together, you might as well throw the records out the book. There you go. Belichick to accept the NC job if offered. So you're going to get rid of a really old, an old guy who's been around college football for an old guy who's not been around college football, but he has, like a smoking hot younger girlfriend, and, she can make a lot of NIL money or something, and that's going to work at North Carolina. Bill Belichick's still a great coach, X's and O's and everything else, but there's nothing about him and where he's been and what he's done right now that makes me think he would succeed in college football. Oh, but he can manage a roster and the salary cap and everything. There is no salary cap. So that doesn't really come into play. Go knock yourself out, North Carolina. Knock yourself out. Hire him. Tee it up. Let's see what happens. Allen, Big 12 versus SEC, Red Raiders, Hogs, Mahomes versus the Waltons. Joey was 2025 interim Arkansas head coach Bobby Petrino. Joey versus interim head coach Bobby Petrino. Sam Pittman money. Todd, Domino's is the best chain pizza for sure, and the New York pizza is good. It's good. It's a different style, obviously. I'm a thin crust kind of guy, but I really liked it when they came out with that. And they got all this, cheesy mac and cheese, which is the way you want your mac and cheese, and some cool different things like that people are really, really loving. They're on the sides and everything that you get. Right, how do you think SMU would do in the Big 12, SEC, or the Big 10? I don't know. They went out and bought some really good players. They got dudes. I think they'd be every bit as competitive in the Big 12 as they were probably within the ACC. I have no reason to think this team right now, not last year, not 5 years from now, but this team this year, I think they would have been very good in the in any of those conferences, certainly within the Big 12. SEC or Big 10, I don't know. Do you think they could have beat Vanderbilt? I do. I think they could have beat Vanderbilt. Do I think SMU could have beat Oklahoma? Probably. Did they beat BYU? No. BYU's got a great case to be in the college football playoffs. So, as I look at it in real time, and that's the thing you must do, and it's really hard as a fan, is you must take the approach of the bettor and the sports wagerer who must assign value in real time and just throw out who you think SMU is, or Boise State is, or Oregon. You can't look at the name. You have to look at the reality. And it's really hard for us fans to be able to do that. That we bring in decades sometimes of history. We bring in years of history. None of it matters. None of that matters on a game-to-game, day-to-day, year-to-year basis. And even within the season, it changes mightily. A team changes mightily from September to right now and who they are. So we have a tendency to look at SMU as the SMU we've known since they got the death penalty. That's not who that team was this year. That's not who that team is right now. SMU has a lot of dogs from Duncanville, DeSoto, and South Oak Cliff, and Miami. In Miami. So we have to look at it that way. It's really hard to do in the here and the now. We have two biases. We have long-term bias, which is real, and then we also have to fight recency bias that sometimes we see something, we go, well, this team's, I've got some of my friends looking at Tech basketball saying, oh, they're never going to win anything again. Yeah, Tech basketball probably going to win some games. That if you saw Tech basketball today for the first time, you're going to have some recency bias and go, oh, this is not a very good team. No, this can be a good team. They weren't a very good team today. We have multiple biases that we have to work through when we do this, and it's really hard as fans to make that happen. Changes mightily when your wallet's involved. Bama goes 9-3 in the Big 12 this season. Yeah, yeah. They probably lose 3 conference games in the Big 12 based on what we saw them do in the SEC. I mean, we can have recency bias right now with Arizona State. How can they be good? They weren't good last year. Texas Tech beat them. They can't be that good. By the way, I'm going to say this. I was pleased that Scattaboo had a really dominant game yesterday. It makes me feel a little bit better about him basically being on the first team and Taj Brooks not. That I would have been even more frustrated with that if he'd gone out and looked like dog meat against Iowa State, you know, that he went out and put up a dominant performance. That actually made me feel a little bit better. And those are things where you go, I can push Taj Brooks without tearing down any other players. Do we? It's a massive ass league. Should we have 3 running backs on the first team? I think so. Right? Should we be looking at having more players on the first team the larger the amount of conference players get? I don't know how you guys feel about it. I was thinking about that over the weekend. That is it logical to say, all right, in a league this big, that 3 guys are worthy of being what we would call first team, or does it even matter anymore? Do we even care? Do these awards not matter? It matters for me because I want Taj Brooks to get awards, right? Good dude, really good college football running back. I don't know what he'll do in the NFL, but you want you want your guys to get those awards. Doesn't do anything for me. I can't go to United Supermarkets on Monday and say, "Hey, I'm a Tech fan, and Taj Brooks got first team Big 12. The beer is free, right?" Oh, it doesn't work that way. Okay, well, I thought the transitive theory. Well, so I don't know. Certain positions should we not have? Should we not expand a little bit? I felt that way, in basketball, and we did that to an extent in basketball with all conference teams as we expanded the Southwest Conference and Big 8 and formed the Big 12 and did it. We have the conferences right now that how should we handle that for football now? All right, your last chance to get some questions and comments in. Just wanted to hop on. We will be doing more Roundball Rewinds with you on a regular basis now as we get into Big 12 play. Might do one next Saturday after the Lamar game, kind of do a checkup on that. If you're thinking I'm hopping out on New Year's Eve doing one, yeah, forget that. That ain't going to take place, all right? So your last chance, get your thoughts, comments in. Anything else now? Of course, tomorrow, Monday, we'll be back on the website, theraiderland.com. We'll hand out Raiderland helmet stickers, find out what we know to start the week. If you hadn't seen our column today, 5, not 4, not 3, not 6, that would be right out. Things we know on a Sunday, non-sports related. Go check it out. I appreciate it when you guys comment on there, share it with your friends, and have some fun with it. So you can, if you hadn't gone to the site today to check out the Sunday column, we like to have a little fun on Sundays, and your comments are always welcome. And you can even do your own 5 things. It's really not hard to do that. Randy says, how will Taj translate at the next level? Will he be drafted free agent? I think he'll be a 3rd-round pick. I feel good about him being a 3rd-round pick. If he's healthy, which is why I don't want him to play in the bowl game, he's done enough for Tech. He's done everything he can. Thank you, Taj. The last moments I want to see and remember him are in that Tech uniform at Jones Stadium, coming out of the game with Texas Tech firmly in control of the game. I think that would be just fine by me. But I think he's 3rd-round pick. He's going to have to be a complimentary back. We are getting more into the idea of teams utilizing running backs. So he's actually hitting this draft period at a time where more and more teams are looking at running backs going, hey, we can utilize this. That if teams want to, continue to do 2 high safeties and, take a guy out of the box and run a lighter box against our quarterbacks, okay. I think he's physical enough. Doesn't have the great speed, but then again, that's not where running backs have been lately. So I think if he's healthy, he gets in a good system, he'll not just make a roster, but I think he can contribute some next year. My man Smitty, the Santa is the best. Where did you buy that? I did not buy that. That is at least probably 45 years old, maybe older. That is a definite 1970s, and it's made out of little plastic flakes that melted down, that you melt down and create that. And my grandparents had that for many years at their house here in the Hubaplex. So I ended up getting two of them. So I've got the Happy Santa Claus behind me, but that's every bit of 45, I bet, years old going back. And who knows, maybe before that. So it's a very 70s type decoration. But what that is that's little melted pieces of plastic that the Happy Santa makes an appearance every year this time of year here on the show. Trace, Cowboys or Bengals? Bengals, reluctantly. And happy holidays to you. Yeah, there's no way I can go with the Cowboys. And the Bengals, if they're going to have any sort of pulse, they've got to do something. Randy, will 32 degrees make an appearance on the show this year? We're trying. We're in negotiations. It's not easy working with them. Their management is sketchy at best. And this should be a warning when you're trying to work with a band and all you get is the only communication is via fax machine. Like no email, no phone calls. The only way you can communicate with their management is via fax machine, and the area code is in Mississippi. Yeah. It's not looking good, but we'll do what we can. It's holidays. We try to provide the best holiday entertainment we can for people here in Raiderland. And if we can, again, get 32 degrees back, we'll do everything we can to make that happen. That's our pledge to you. Late to the show. Happy with the playoffs? Yeah. I didn't really have a dog in the fight other than I was hoping SMU would get a chance just because it would make the Alabama people angry. And if we can do that at a given time, life is good. So all things considered, yeah, we can roll with it. But until we get to a real 16 team and, break it down and do it NFL style, committees suck and it's always going to suck. Do you remember fax? No, I don't remember that one. I don't remember that one, Randy. I bet my man Alan Corbin, and for sure Scott Fitzgerald probably does. I don't remember that. God, early ticketing. By that I mean from 93 to 98. The first 5 years of the ticket, absolute radio greatness. We liberally stole as much as we could on the Williams and Hyatt show on some of the stuff that they were doing, but there was only so far we could push the envelope in Lubbock and just not freak people out too much. So we kind of pushed it. But yeah, the early ticket, nobody did it better. And somebody said they were going to have a big announcement on Monday or something. I'm hoping that it's, hey, we're going to make the ticket funny again. Yeah, I said it out loud. Ugh. All right. You guys were good today. I didn't know what to expect on a little Sunday Roundball edition. Glad you liked it. We're going to, as I said, do more of these now that Big 12 play is going to start up on a moderately semi-regular basis. Basketball lends itself, to a little bit of Tuesday, Saturday. So we'll kind of see. Sometimes the start times are so late. I don't want to keep you guys up too late on a weeknight. I know you guys have busy schedules. So we'll just work through around it and everything else. And you know what that also means? We're getting this much closer to Diamond Talk and Texas Tech baseball getting ready to go. See you tomorrow on the website. Go check it out right now. Our Sunday column, get your comments in theraiderland.com. We want to thank Domino's Pizza, hanging out here in the Arctic Air Studios on a Sunday evening, and United Supermarkets making all the communication possible there on the chat lines. We'll see you tomorrow, theraiderland.com.